What's the deal, people? It's your boy Big Star Raw Sports, man. RawSports.tv is the website. Raw Sports Films is the YouTube channel. If you want to, support the movement, support Legends Week, support my cause and, everything that I do to, help the student athletes out, you can go to my online store, rawsportsapparel.com, and grab some merchandise. I got t-shirts on there, hoodies on there, hats, bags, all kind of stuff, man. Tonight, I appreciate y'all joining me, man, for another classic episode of Legends Week, man. This one is definitely long overdue. And this is a special one, being as though I'm a Norristown Eagle at heart, man. That's, Norristown is a place that, that birthed me and raised me. Got a classic episode with my man, DAREN QUEENAN. Here we go. Here we go.
My God, I'm blessed. We good?
I am good. Tell me if that's too much light in the background.
You know what? It's good, but it's like it being as though it's in back of you, it makes your face dark. So if you can kind of get in, like, and have the light be in your face, that it'll be perfect.
Well, I'm dark anyway.
if you can get it to where the light is in your face like that, perfect. That angle is perfect.
All right, I'll sit here.
That angle is much better. Hey, shout out to our test run and everybody that helped us out with tech support earlier. Earlier today, man, they helped us figure it out. We here for, to some people it may seem like first time's a charm, but this was like actually our 10th take at trying to do this live thing.
It's a virtue.
No doubt, no doubt. Hey, well, I'm gonna get right to it, man. It's a lot of ground I want to cover with you tonight, man. First off, I just want to just do my intros in the way of just saying thank you so much for joining us here for Legends Week, man. This is the platform that I created, just about a year ago, right before the pandemic hit, as a way. I'm a hoop junkie, first off, but a level under that, I'm in love with the old school. You know what I'm saying? I'm in love with the history of the game, and besides that, like not like NBA history, like our local history. Here in Pennsylvania, right. PA has such a rich history right here at home, man, of high school hoops and athletes in general. That's something that I've always been drawn to. So when I created the Legends Week platform, man, just to say thank you to individuals like yourself for your contribution to the game and for everything that you gave to the culture, man. And also as a way of, I promote a lot of current high school athletes, through my Raw Sports platform. So this serves as a form of education to educate those younger kids on who are some of the guys who paved the way, laid the foundation. And by all means, you can correct me if I'm wrong. High school basketball, playground hoops was going on way before you got there. You know what I'm saying? But the fact of the matter is, when it was your time to carry the torch, you carried it well. You treated the game well. You created a lot of classic memories for the people, man. And that's why we here. That's why we have you here on Legends Week, man. Just to say thank you, man.
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you for having me on your podcast. I really appreciate it. And I really don't see myself as a legend. I just kind of see myself as a byproduct of my community.
No doubt. No doubt. I appreciate that. And I appreciate that perspective and that humility, man. I'm sure, if Buddy Epps' barbershop was open, if it was crowded in there now, and I asked the question, who were some of the legends to come from Norristown? Your name will be one of the names that will come up. So I appreciate the humility. But the people, whenever, and I appreciate that, man. I'm class of 95. I'm 43. But I remember seeing you play down at Oak Street Park a couple times, but I wasn't, I wasn't at the games, like your high games and all that kind of stuff, when you were doing your thing. But whenever we would talk, whenever people would talk basketball, man, your name would always come up, man. You were definitely doing something right out there, man, for sure.
Well, I tell you, I think during my time, the Norristown community was great.
100%.
And I look at it like this, and this is my analogy. Everyone, you're very young, you're very impressionable, and my analogy is like a flower. You're a seed, okay? And you have to water that seed in order for it to blossom. And I receive a lot of positive encouragement. Mm-hmm. And if you sometimes you could spill coffee on it, but if you feed it coffee, my knowledge, coffee is negativity, it won't grow.
No doubt, for sure.
So my community, I had a lot of people in my corner. I would say there's direct relationships, people who help me out that I don't have to explain. It started with the community in terms of, I would say, my church. I'll start with the church first, Shalom Baptist Church. That's what I grew up, and it taught me to be humble and count your blessings. Back in the day, the community we had, and you probably can remember this. I always loved the old school moms.
Of course, of course.
Old school moms, they would tear your butt up and hug you at the same time. Like,
100%.
what's going on here? So they taught you to be strong. I appreciate you, but be appreciative and humble at the same time.
100%. I
had a lot of great mothers. I had my mother. My second mother was James Etta Arthur. I had mothers on my block. I had families who done well. It was the Dardens down the street. It was the Johnsons. I had the Joneses. I had the Savages. I had Miss Pierce. And two Joneses. Joneses right next to me, and there was a Jones around the corner. I had the Stewarts. I had Miss Wards. I had the fathers there. You had Councilman Pierce, Mr. Stewart. I had Ward, and God bless. Some of them actually passed away, but it was a strong community. I had great friends, classmates, and I'm gonna give a shout out to some of my friends because they're doing wonderful things for the community. There's a couple in the police officers. There's Anthony Berry. There's Mark Benjamin doing great things. My teammate, he's the pastor. I look at Michael Hyde. He's doing great things. To me, those are legends.
No doubt.
Back to community.
No doubt. No doubt.
Legends.
Hey, real quick, I'm gonna cut you off. We're definitely gonna get into your story, but it's a tradition I have here on the Legends Week platform. I call it 10 random questions. All right, we're just gonna play a quick game just to kind of get us warmed up, and then we'll continue with your story. You ready for that?
I'm ready.
All right, so 10 random things. So this is the segment of the interview where it's completely okay to give one-word answers. You know what I mean? We'll just kind of speed through this, and then once we get to your story, you know, you just have at it. All right, so real quick, who's like 1, 2, or 3, just a couple local players who inspired you coming up in Norristown? So either, you know, some of your peers, a little bit older than you, anything. Couple basketball players that inspired you coming up.
I had a couple, but I had a lot on when I was a junior. Jerome Reinhardt.
Gotcha.
Reinhardt's one. Watt Wise was another. Kerry Mayo. Good things about Kerry Mayo. And here's another name. He's not a big name, but he was always positive towards me. And like I said, he was another one who spread me with a lot of positivity. Jim Brew.
James Brewer.
Yeah.
Jim Brew.
Jim Brew. Love Jim Brew.
Jim Brew. Say no doubt. No doubt. They called him me and my guy brother Harry Allen called him Jim Jordan.
Yeah.
Jim Brew, no doubt for sure.
So and I got many more. John Bass as well.
No doubt. All right. What's your most memorable slam dunk of your entire career, whether it's high school, pro, college, anything, like summer league? One of your most like one of your slam dunks that you did that you'll never forget.
Well, I tell you, I actually was in a CBA. It was one guy. We were playing. I forget the name of the team. It might have been Tulsa, and their center was 6'11". Someone just dunked on him from my team. And remember, this guy was from Georgetown. He was known as a dunker. Bald head guy named Grant. He was about 6'9", mean dunker. And he was laughing. And the very next play, I caught the ball in the box, and I think they looked at my size, and a lot of big men, they stay underneath the hoop. And I dunked on him, and the reason why it was so memorable is because the whole team was laughing at him because he was just laughing at his boys for getting dunked on.
Yo, that's crazy. And we'll talk more about it in like later on down the line. But you won the CBA dunk contest, correct?
Correct.
Gotcha. We'll get there. Norristown, one of the staples in the community are the barbershops. You know, Buddy Epps, you know, was my shop. You know, when I was younger, I went to you know, to the shop down the valley on Basin Street. But where'd you get your haircut growing up in town?
It was down and shop at Basin Street initially.
No doubt.
And then there was the barber shop across from Marshall Street. Then it was, what street was that? It had where the police station was located.
Airy Street.
Airy Street. There was a barber shop there.
Right over there. Gotcha. Right across. I got you.
Yeah.
Yep.
There.
Gotcha. Most points you scored at any level? College, high school, summer league. What's the most points you put in the box score?
80.
Wait, what?
It was the Philippines.
Wow. So professional ball, you put up 80 points.
I was just feeling good that night.
Wow. So was it inside, outside, mid-range, threes? What?
It was basically everything. I actually had my three-point shot going, and so it opened up a lot of my drives. So once I was able to get my jump shot going, I kind of had them at bay. I was getting everything I wanted.
Got you. Coming up in the 80s, you know, late 70s, 80s, I don't care if you were on planet Mars, everybody watched wrestling. Who's one of your favorite wrestlers growing up? Everybody watched wrestling. Everybody watched wrestling, man.
Bobby Backlund,
for sure. Legend. For sure. Anybody kind of neck and neck with him, or Bob Backlund was your guy?
Well, Hulk Hogan was there too, but I also like Jimmy
Superfly Snooker. For sure. No doubt. Another 80s question. You know, the golden era of hip hop, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I know Norristown, you know, definitely had a nice hip hop culture going on. So around that time, were you breaking? Were you breakdancing? Were you rapping? Were you a B-boy? Which were you, or none of the above?
I was none of the above. I couldn't break. I couldn't bop. You know, I would move my head once in a while. You know, so people thought I had a little rhythm, but
no doubt. Did you attend any of the legendary parties at the Carver Center that I heard about, or no? You wasn't even in the building for any of those.
I probably was I might have been out of the country, to be honest with you.
Got you.
Traveling the States.
I got you. What's one of your favorite cartoons growing up?
Favorite cartoon? Speed Racer.
Speed Racer, no doubt, good one. Definitely a classic.
Ultraman 2.
Got you. For sure. Yes, that's right, for sure. What was the sneaker of choice back then, like in the 80s? What, you know, if it was a sneaker that like you had to have in high school, like what was something that everybody was like, ooh, I gotta have that one?
I think it was the Dr. J's. Dr. J's was big back then.
Okay.
It was the Dr. J's, and if you got it in leather, you was the man. They
no
also
doubt.
You had Converse, but then you had the Pro Ks that were kind of leather.
Okay.
J's as well. So
okay.
It was Dr. J's for me.
Gotcha. So two-part question. Back in the day, whether you were a big man or whatever, but it was high tops, right? You was playing ball, you had on high tops. Am I correct?
High tops, yeah.
You had to have on high tops. What do you think about like the transition? Like you see like a lot of NBA players, high school kids, they started to get lower and lower to where they're even lower than like running shoes. They kind of like curve right under the ankle. What do you think about the transition and wearing low top, like I guess jogging shoes to play ball in?
Well, the game has changed.
Mm-hmm.
The game has changed. It's more of a speed game now. Mm-hmm. It's small ball.
Yeah, I got you.
When I was growing up, you know, you had your 6'10", 6'11", 250 power forwards who were chiseled, you know. Mm-hmm. And
hey, real quick. Sorry to cut you off. I meant to tell you at the top of the hour, whenever it's another legend in the building, you know, guys that hooped and all that, gotta shout them out. So real quick, just want to shout out Carrie Mayo. You mentioned Carrie Mayo earlier. Carrie Mayo is watching. Continue.
Okay, good. Hey, Carrie, thanks for listening. You know, it was a different type of game. So you wore high tops. You wrapped up your ankles because you had to go in there and get some rebounds.
Yeah.
It's a speed game now. You know, so they're looking for creating space versus speed. So I can see the change in terms of the sneakers that help you get that extra 2 or 3 steps, get that
Yeah.
advantage over their opponent.
Got you. This is an interesting question. One of the last 2 questions of 10 random questions. I know, Norristown has a rich history of like athletes in general, from track and field, football, all that kind of stuff. But an area that doesn't get as much shine as it should are female ballers. So during your era, late 70s, early 80s, who are some of the top female players that you've seen that come out of the Norristown area?
Okay, and I'm long-winded, but I just want to say, Daryl Wise actually has on Facebook. It's called Past, Present, and Future, and he really recognized our women ball players because a lot of true legends. But I'm going to mention some. During my time, everyone heard of Jenny Hall, but I played with Mary Hall.
Gotcha.
Hall, my teammate Mike Simpkins, his sister Allison Simpkins. She was a ball player, and I think I heard she passed away. So God bless her soul.
Yeah. Miss Ellis. Yes. Yeah. Rest in peace. Yep. I believe so. Yep.
Great ball player.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome, man. Definitely got to give a shout out to the ladies, man. And I'm definitely have it on my agenda to connect, with some of those some of the ladies like the Hall, if they're still around, man, for sure. Lastly, what other sports did you play growing up besides basketball?
Oh, I played football. And I played baseball.
Okay.
And let me tell you, actually, if people remember Roosevelt, there were baseball fields. I actually played for a team called the Pilots. And once I connected, I was hitting home runs.
No doubt.
I thought my best sport was baseball.
Okay.
I thought it was baseball, but as time went on and I was at the high school, a lot of my friends didn't play baseball. So I said, no, I got more friends who play basketball.
No doubt. So you just kind of just went with the hoop dreams and hanging out with the homies. No doubt.
And I met a lot of my friends also through football. Some of them probably remember me. I was okay,
No doubt. No doubt. Oh, Jay Joseph said Coach Mack always talked about DAREN QUEENAN. Who's we got another legend in the building. Jay Joseph watching. Coach Mack.
Yes.
No doubt. Hey, all right. Well, let's get right to it, man. Just I guess pick up where you left off, or now that we got our audience, man. Just if you can, just reintroduce yourself to the people. If it's anyone watching right now that doesn't know who you are, and just start us off and just let us know where the DAREN QUEENAN story begins, and we'll just go from there.
Oh, sure. Well, the DAREN QUEENAN story began in Norristown, and it is a very prideful community, Basin Street. But like I was saying, it was a great community atmosphere. And no one ever walks a journey by themselves. No one ever becomes successful. It's always done by, I would say, the community first. And like I was mentioning, I just mentioned some of the great mothers, great fathers, my teammates, also teachers, because like a teacher, and she passed away, I remember helped me with Miss Stanley, and she would always cut out some of the articles. She was at the high school, and teachers, coaches, not just high school coaches, collegiate coaches, but like you mentioned, what are the sports that you play? Minor, Pee Wee League, or extremely important to build players' confidence, And to me, I was just blessed, I would say, with just a great community. And my success, and like I said, I don't consider myself a legend, but my success is contributed to so many people. My oldest brother was also an influence, and I'll talk about that later on. Like I said, there's a lot of obvious relationship. Also, I do want to give a shout out to, and he passed away, Walt Rogers. He did a lot with the community in terms of basketball. And also there was a man behind the scene. Who actually put the money up. And because a lot of times I remember, we were playing, we're traveling, but really nothing's coming out of our pocket. Say thanks. His name is Tom Drayford.
Okay.
Really, really quiet man behind the scenes,
Mm-hmm.
but done a lot of good. And everybody
Gotcha.
who plays basketball know who I'm referring to.
Got you. Out of curiosity, at what point, when, all right, go back to that moment in your mind where, like when people talk about hip hop, you know, people say, yo, when did you fall in love with hip hop? They say, man, I was somewhere, I was at the park and I heard this music, and you know what I'm saying? I heard this groove, and I was like, wow, what is that sound? You know what I mean? So similar to basketball, go back to that moment. At what point do you think you fell in love with basketball? But I'm not talking about just playing for fun. I'm talking about like you saying to yourself, man, I love this. Like this, I love this. Like I have to have this. You know what I'm saying? When did you fall in love with the game, you think?
I tell you, when I really fell in love with the game, it was actually probably my junior year.
Okay.
My junior year, and we start winning, and I start realizing, you know, it was a good feel for the community. Everyone was in a good mood. Go to the parties. Everyone is in a good mood. We beat this team.
Yeah.
Everybody, you know, jamming, smiling, interacting.
Uh-huh.
So that's actually when I start falling in love. I was like, wait a minute.
Okay.
A whole game can change the whole mood of a community.
No doubt. No doubt. No doubt. That's what's up. I appreciate hearing that, man. So you seeing the effect that the team had on the community, like, did something for you.
Oh yeah, they would turn out. Like I said, it was positivity.
Mm-hmm.
They were very positive words of encouragement. Like I said, that was that water in the flower again. And also, you know, it helped me shape me into the person who I am. And I always, with little kids, you know, that it was my job to spend time to talk to them.
Yeah.
You know, like that's when I fell in love with the game. You know, I could impact people's life by just a few positive words.
No doubt, no doubt. And describe to the people. You know, it's a lot of people. We have a great audience tonight. A lot of people tuned in. I'm sure a lot of these people watching actually saw you play. But if it's someone who's watching this or may see it later on YouTube that didn't see you play, what type of player were you? What were your strengths? You know, things you did well, all that kind of stuff.
I tell you the truth. I don't think I was a good athlete.
Okay.
I was a good athlete, and I don't think I really had a lot of strength. I wasn't a
as
great
far as like a lot of different things in your arsenal, you mean? Just a good athlete?
I became a good shooter. You know, here's how I want to model myself.
Mm-hmm.
I want to model myself anyone who I would say is trying to become someone who doesn't have accolades like some of your prominent players, who wants to go in and make a difference. I think I'm the person you could look at and model yourself.
Gotcha.
A guy who really wasn't that skilled. If you look at me, you know, I wasn't really highly recruited in college, but I had a burning desire to get better, and I learned from a lot of my teammates.
Gotcha.
A lot of my teammates. There's so many people who made me better that they don't even know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the great players. You know, you had my junior year. I'm just going to go to my junior year. I'll be talking all day.
Mm-hmm.
You had Dante Woods. He was considered an All-American. You had Wayne Wise. You had Darryl Wise. I said Wayne Wise. This is his brother.
Mm-hmm.
You had Jerome Reinhardt. You had Frank Dobbs, and you had Chucky Smooth. Okay, and there was one position that I said, "Oh, this might be my opening." When I was playing, I didn't even think I would get the starting spot.
Wow.
I went to Cheney, I played, and you know who was my biggest advocate? My brother Kip said, "Darren, you're starting." I said, "Oh, Kip, you know, you might be saying it because you're my brother." He said, "No, you're going to start and you're going to make an impact. You were killing these guys at Cheney. They're college players."
Was it like a camp, like some open runs, or like a camp at Cheney?
I thought the rim was low. I was like, "Oh, that rim must be low." You know, so I'm looking, for me, it's any ball player who think they don't have the ability or skill. You can go in there and play the best of your ability. Mm-hmm. And I think if you look at me, a person from high school who really wasn't a great shooter, it could have been because of my Superman glasses as well.
Yeah, no doubt.
glasses, they would fog up. And then once I put on some contacts, I noticed
there was a point in high school where you was playing with the Superman bifocal joints. You was playing with those?
Oh yeah, the Kurt Rambis. They were falling off all the time.
Did you have the strap around the back to hold them on?
It wouldn't stay on.
Did they used to fall off during the game?
Oh yeah, they used to fall off during the game.
How did you play with those on, man?
That's the thing. I made it work.
You was slam dunking and everything with the glasses on.
With the glasses on, and they would call me Superman, and I think my because he's short, they called me Soup. Like, you call me Superman, or you call me like Campbell Soup or something.
Yo, that's hilarious. That's funny, man. Hey, let's talk about your jumping ability. Did you always have that, like those hops? Like, what was your vertical? Like, when was your first slam dunk? Like, tell me about the athleticism, man.
I think it really came 8th grade going into 9th grade.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was really touching the rim. Because you start with the tennis ball.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody dunk with the tennis ball. Well,
yeah.
Actually, first you're slapping the rim.
Of course.
They're just slapping the rim.
Of course. That's right.
Boom, boom.
That's right.
You do the tennis ball, then you do the volleyball. I think my first dunk really came at Roosevelt. I slammed the ball, but when I went to Cheney University, it was for an academic program. They were helping us, become better students. I was actually I was dunking while we were playing. That's why. Now, the other one I had run a start at Roosevelt. This I was dunking while we were playing. I was like, that's when my brother was like, hey, you gonna start.
Yeah. Got you. Hey, so let's transition into high school. So any way you want to break down your high school career, let's just talk about some of your most memorable experiences. Tell me who your teammates were, memorable experiences, rival games. Highlights, career, just any way you want to break down from 9th to 12th grade.
Okay. Well, I would be talking all day, but I'm going to start with 11th grade, and then I'm going to shift into my senior year, because my senior year we actually were very successful, and we actually had a very small team. But my junior year, I actually believe we had a bit more of a talented team.
Okay.
And I actually watched some of they have on the archives. They play your old games. I just way back to see the old games.
Yeah.
We actually had a very good team. We had a very good team, and I think what hurt us the most is we're very poor foul shooter, and me included.
Gotcha.
I think that cost us some games. But you had, like I said, you had Darren White. He was established. He was like a all suburban. You had Dante, who was and I mentioned it before, he was like an All-American center. And then you had Jerome Reinhardt, you had Frankie Dobbs, you had Chucky Smooth. They had the point guard. Like I said, it was just one position that was open. And I think my brother's positive words saying, Darren, you would start, gave me a lot of confidence to say, you know what, I'm going to go in there and show him what I can do. And I think that's what it's started. And I remember it was a game when the ball came off the rim and I dunked it, and everyone went crazy. My glasses flew off. The Superman glasses flew off, and I was so happy, and I was so proud.
So it came off the rim, and you just caught it in there and just jammed it back in.
Oh yeah, it came off the rim. I think somebody might have shot a little brick because it kind of came off. I got it, and I was able to dunk it. But what it taught me, here's what it taught me, and it helped me with the senior year, my senior year, and I think from a leadership point of view. It taught me because I was the unknown man coming in.
Gotcha.
I was the unknown man coming in. I wasn't really that established player. To be humble and appreciate everyone's contributions. So the very next year, we had a very small team. but we had very like new guys coming on the scene. And I'm not saying they weren't known, but I'm talking about they're probably known on the playground, but
Gotcha.
in order to start for the high school, we had Mike Simpkins.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Simpkins was 6'1", but Mike Simpkins was a very tough player underneath the board. And then we had Darryl Wise's brother, Want Wise.
Okay.
You know, well, Darryl Want Wise, Wayne Wise. You know, they they always get me confused. But Wayne had so much energy. You didn't want to shake this man's hand before a game. I mean, he was another one who came on the scene from nowhere. So you had Frank Dobbs, you had myself. We were kind of more of the established players by my senior year. And one thing I realized that these guys were just like I was during my junior year. Let them show themselves, you know. And I think, even though I believe that my junior year team was a little more talented, we got along better, and that's why we were able to win the District 1. I'm just going to say how they helped me. You know, we had very good players. We had players. We were tiny though. We were small. Steve Munch Bishop, he came off the bench. We had like I already, my admiration for Wayne Wise and Mike Simpkins, Frank Dobbs, and I always looked at everyone's contribution as important. And I give you a classic example. Even though we were successful, even a guy like Lou Simpson won us, I would say, forgive me, Lou, he knows it's true, one game.
No doubt.
One game. But it was such a crucial game. He remembers it was against Truman. It was Truman. If everybody remembers, I remember Big Lou came in because Martin was big. Martin was kind of pushing me around. We needed a big body. Lou was putting that big body on him. And at the end of the game, Lou got a rebound. Lou made a shot. Lou hit his foul shots. And from there on, we were able to springboard into, I think we were ranked 6. 6 in the district. And I'm going to tell you how my teammates helped me become a better player. I remember we were playing Chester. Everyone knows they had 6'7", I think his name was Darren Pearsall. He was going to Temple. And 6'10", Teddy Williams. He went to Wichita State. Okay. We were playing them. I was 6'4". I was like, darn.
And you were the center, right?
Yeah, that was the only time I was really nervous. I was like, how am I going to rebound against these big boys? But I looked at my players, like Mike Simpkins. Mike was only 6'1". I'm gonna give Mike 6.5. Yeah. 6.5. But he was so fearless, and Mike would go in there. He would battle against guys like my height, 6'5", 6'5". Then you had Wayne Wise. Wayne wasn't really a leaper. Wayne would get in there and battle. Wayne wasn't a leaper.
For sure.
But Wayne had heart. So I said to myself, well, shucks, if they doing it,
if they in there banging, of course,
I can't complain. And I had 15 rebounds.
Wow.
My teammates helped shape my game in a tremendous way, and they just don't realize it. And it's from, I would say, 11th grade to 12th grade. And like I said, there's different stages to someone's journey, but your success is not yours alone.
Yeah.
And that's what I'd like to share.
Who were what's a few games? So you guys won the district championship that year, your senior year. And where was the district championships held at back then? Where were they at?
We had ours. I think it was Uranus College.
Okay. Gotcha.
I think it was there.
Gotcha.
And we played Penwood with Lamont Farrell. Now he was a big name, so.
And it was against Penwood.
Yeah, it was against Penwood.
Okay.
And we won pretty handily, And let me tell you, and our league, we had some great players. And let me tell you, we had great players even outside our league. And I think they helped push me to become better.
Of course.
Junie Lewis. I love Junie Lewis.
Abington. Yeah, Moonbeam, my guy.
I love him more as
listen. I interviewed Junie, and he man, he has such high things, amazing things to say about you. He just ranted and raved about you, man. He talked about you like forever, man. He loved you and loved your game, man, for sure.
And I like Junie better as the person, approachable. I like guys like that who had great games, done great things for their community. And Junie also would sneak in to Norristown once in a while.
No doubt. Hey, so you had some battles with Abington and Junie.
Oh yeah.
Tell me about those. Tell me about those, man. Tell me about those battles with Junie Lewis and Abington.
I tell you one thing. When I was playing, Junie was probably the only one I was looking for if it's going to block my shot. I was like the 6'2" guy and jumped out the gym. And I had hops.
Yes.
Like, where's Junie? He's probably the only one at that.
Yep, for sure.
That had me a little nervous. But we had Junie, we had Martin Sally. Let me tell you, we had Grady Minnick.
Grady Minnick, yep, I heard about him as well.
Yeah, I love Grady Minnick. He
played at PW. Where did he play at PW? PW, yep.
PW. And let me tell you, even Brian Leahy, right down the street, those guys, I wanted to represent Norristown. You know, I was like, here's some stars in their area, their community. And I said to myself, you know what? I got to represent Norristown.
That's right.
You know, and here's what I've learned, you know, from the past, present, and the future. As long as you wore the blue and white, you got my respect.
No doubt, no doubt.
You were representing the town. It doesn't matter what team was better than you think another team was better. As long as you put in that blue and white and you play the best you can, you are a winner. You are a champion.
No doubt. No doubt. Hey, my man James Nelson Stewart, my man Chief Justice, he said Sweet Pea Weldon from Sweet Pea Weldon from Wissahickon. You remember that name?
I remember that.
Got you. And shout out to my man, another historian, Randy Ricard, aka Rope-a-Dope. My man Rope said he said that block shot at Harrisburg against Williamsport was unbelievable. Tell me about that.
Like I said, some of these games are blurs.
Yeah.
I played so many, you know. But oh no, I had a lot of blocks.
Okay.
You know, but I think the blocks sometimes led me into bad defense.
I understand. I got you.
Because I would wait for him to shoot it and go get it.
Got you. Anything else? Any other crazy games? You know, I know a lot to blur because it was a long time ago. Any other things stick out to you about your high school career, and any big games or just moments, crazy things that happened? Any plays that you had, things that kind of had people going crazy? Anything you remember?
You know, like I said, it sometimes becomes a blur. But
yeah.
The only thing I can remember is how, for a while, Norristown basketball, you heard a lot about Norristown basketball, and we used to get a lot of good crowds, and it kind of dissipated a little bit.
Yeah.
And I remember my junior year that we were actually only playing at half court, but we start winning. And one thing that I love is when the fans start coming back into,
of course,
into the stadium, because that really energized everyone.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think we had great fans. I think great teammates, great community. And and also I'm going to give a shout out to talk about Norristown basketball. You know, he was a little kid. I was in his sister's class, Donza, Binky Johnson.
Binky, for sure. Yep.
Job, Norristown High, spoke to him. Always loved him as a young man. I think Norristown had done a great job with Binky at the helm, and I think you're gonna hear a lot from Norristown with Binky in charge.
For sure, for sure. Hey, one of the areas that I love to talk about whenever I got guys like you on are the summer leagues, man. Because summer leagues aren't what they used to be. You know, all the young kids are playing, you know, AAU, you know, all that kind of stuff. Kids aren't playing on the blacktop anymore. Give me a few, you know, summer league memories, different leagues you may have played in. Like, were you down the city, you know, playing with the Sunny Hill, or, you know, leagues in Norristown, or wherever you played it? Tell me some summer league memories, man, and some people you played against. Oh, wait. Judy Lewis. Moonbeam, he's tuned in. I just saw it. It said Junie Lewis is watching. Hey, Junie, hey, Darren Queenan was just talking about you, Junie, and I told him when I interviewed you, you was giving him his props as well. Hey, DQ, say what's up to Junie Lewis. He's good brother's watching right now, man.
Junie, I told him you were the only guy I was worried about blocking my shot, 6'2". I was like, Junie.
No doubt. Shout out to the legend Junie Lewis in the building. I appreciate you tuning in, big dog.
Junie made me a better player with the things he did on the court. So thanks, Junie, for making me a better player.
No doubt, man. That's special, man. But yeah, summer league memories, man. Tell me about some summer leagues.
I'm gonna tell you. You know, I played at the pro-am, but I'm gonna tell you where I also gained a lot of confidence. I remember Walt Roger. And people are going to remember this name. You know, Walt Roger would take some of the players from Norristown to Philly.
Gotcha.
So one time I was going to Philadelphia with Walt Rogers, and it was Dallas Comagese.
Okay.
Dallas Comagese was a big 6'9", big recruit. I think he was a first-round draft pick with the Atlanta Hawks.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I got this from, everybody knows I'm kind of a quiet person, but my brother Kip, he wasn't. So he always would fire me up. You don't go in there. You go in there and you play him. Don't you take that. You go in there and do your thing. So he was like, Darren, you know, go ahead and play Dallas. I like this guy. I said, okay, I'm going to play him. I'm playing.
Uh-huh.
Dallas, I pinned his stuff on backboard. Now, I'm not saying I was better than him.
No doubt.
I'm not saying that. But let me tell you, Dallas respected me after that.
No doubt. No doubt.
You know, and then that's when I said to myself, oh, man, I pinned some people's stuff. I can play. But let me tell you, I started going to the city, and I played with, and Grady was on that team, Grady, Minnick, we had Brian Smith, and we had this kid that to me was unbelievable. Hey, kid, he was older than me, and everybody knows who I'm talking about. We call him Doc Blocker.
Okay.
Chris Blocker.
And what was the name?
Chris Blocker.
Chris Blocker. And where was he from?
What school was from Chris Blocker from? If anybody knows, shout that out.
Anybody remember the name Chris Blocker? Let us know what school he was, what high school he went to.
Yeah, Chris would have some of the nicest dunks. And let me tell you, Chris would, the first time he was in the layup line, he put it on the backboard and he turned around and dunked it. I said, that's nice. You know what? That dunk helped me win the CBA dunk contest. Because I'm going to tell you what I did. I took it to another level. When I won the CBA dunk contest, I put it on the backboard once, I put it on the backboard again, and then I turned around. No one has seen that dunk yet.
Legendary.
What?
Legendary. Classic, man. That's crazy right there.
But that's where it started getting a lot of confidence. And for me, it was, you know, Philadelphia always had an impeccable reputation. And I was like, you know what? I got to represent the town. You know, I got to show people in the town because, you know, I just wanted to really try to pave the way and say Norristown has a rich history of basketball players. Don't overlook us.
Of course. Yep.
No, don't overlook us. And as you can see, we are getting ball players out there. You know, but I played, even when I came back, you know, I was playing like overseas and I came back, I played in the program, and I think players saw me different. It wasn't just Darren who could dunk.
Yeah.
Darren had a very good jump shot.
Got you.
And I remember hearing a lot about Derek Perry.
Gotcha.
And I think we played each other. I might have had 30, he had 30, but I was so proud because I was like, okay, there's Norristown ball player.
That's right. That's right. And that was in the pro-am.
Yeah, that was the pro. I was like, okay,
Gotcha.
do your thing. Do your thing, buddy. There's 2 Norristonians up in here representing.
That's right. Represent. That's what's up, man. Hey, real quick, another thing that's that used to be huge, but it's kind of phased out. It's kind of taken on a different form. Or the camps, you know, back then, like the Nike camp, ABCD, 5-star, Adidas. Did you participate in any of those type camps back then, or no?
No, like I tell you, I was kind of like an unknown.
Oh, under the radar. Got you. Okay.
I was under the radar.
Okay.
And let me tell you, for a guy who was under the radar, and this is what I'm saying, if you work hard, you listen to your coaches, you can achieve things that you never dreamed of.
Of course.
And I know you're probably going to go into this, but at Lehigh, you know, I never thought I was going to get a chance to actually even try out for an NBA team.
Mm-hmm.
I was just using it as a tool, college as a tool to help me in my career, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, once I graduated from college and I didn't owe anything, I was already a winner.
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
But I averaged 29 points. I went from 24 points a game in my junior year. I averaged 28.5. I was the second leading scorer in the nation. Okay. And just think about this. We didn't have a 3-point line into my sophomore year. And a lot of people might not remember this, but I finished 12th as a 12th all-time leading scorer.
Wow.
In NCAA.
Wow.
And to me, it was the success that sometimes you can give a player a chance.
Mm-hmm.
You can give a player a chance if you see a player who's hardworking and he can help his team win, he might be able to help you win. And I remember Fran McCaffrey, and Fran McCaffrey was my man. Let me tell you, if anyone has a chance to play for Fran McCaffrey.
Mm-hmm.
He is, I would do anything for that man. I was trying out for the Houston Rockets, okay? And to me, this is a dream come true. Rudy Tomjanovich called me down a month before to work me out.
Wow.
I had the same agent as Ralph Sampson. I met Ralph Sampson. I stayed at Ralph Sampson's place.
Wow.
I stayed at his place, and I think if Rudy was the coach, I would have made the team. But to me, that was a blessing. I will let you answer.
Yeah. All right. We'll just hold that, because I know the people want to hear about all that. Real quick, I'm just curious. Did you play just one more like high school related stop? Then we'll talk about college and all that, and then we'll get to the pros and all that kind of stuff. Did you play in Conshohocken at the Donofrio tournament at all?
Oh,
no?
yeah.
Tell me about the Donofrio before we transition to college.
Well, it was what was his name? He was a teacher, and he asked me to go play. And, you know, I was excited to play against the Philly boys.
Of course.
You know, because Walt always had like the Philly seniors, the Philly juniors, the Philly sophomores.
Mm-hmm.
And my thing was, and it was a Conshohocken, and it was really small. It was
like
a small place.
Yep.
And, you know, and I said, you know what? I'm going to go down there with my Superman glasses. I'm I roll my socks all the way up to my knees, and I'm going to go there and compete.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I was a winner because I was like, okay, some of y'all got big names, and I score against y'all. So it always helped build my confidence. There's a lot of things that help build your confidence.
Yeah.
And I would tell anybody, you know, you got to build in steps.
Uh-huh.
You got to build in steps. Don't say, okay, I want to be the best player. Build in steps, work hard. Not only in basketball, take that philosophy with anything you do in your job. You know, if you're a father, if you're a mother, you know, your personal workplace. Just take that and just remember, success is all relative. It's all relative. That's why I don't consider myself a legend.
No doubt.
You know, I just use basketball as a tool to help, you know, propel me to where I am today.
No doubt. And Rope said, he said Norristown Sports Federation was the Concert Hockin Donofrio team's name. Norristown Sports Federation.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's the team. I can't remember what happened.
Yeah, do you remember any of the big time players that played down there around your time, or you can't recall any of the players?
Dallas Comagese, because I remember blocking his shot again.
Okay.
My cousin, Brian Shorter.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait, hold on. We may be related, because I think I'm related to Brian Shorter. My uncle, who went to Dobbins, Donnie Starling, Thomas Starling, Donnie Starling played, Dobbins. And we was actually talking about Brian Shorter, just how great he was, man. We got to talk afterwards, but tell me about Brian Shorter, man. What's your perspective on Brian Shorter, man? He's a bad boy, I heard, man.
Let me tell you, Brian was a McDonald's All-American. I think he was ranked like number 7 player.
Mm-hmm.
7 player. To me, Brian could have made the league. He could dribble. He was strong. I think.
And he was kind of tall, right?
He was 6'7".
Yeah.
But I think sometimes going to a certain place could be a bad move. And I think this is just me. He probably would say, "Darren, you're wrong."
Mm-hmm.
But remember, he went to Pittsburgh University.
Yep.
Well, that was after Jerome Lane, and they tried to replicate him into the Jerome Lane type of player.
I understand.
And he was his game started projecting to more of a small power forward.
Gotcha.
But the reason why he was ranked so high is because he could dribble the ball. He was outside. He could do it all.
Mm-hmm.
But then they just try to position him into a Jerome Lane. And we actually played together overseas in Belgium too.
Wow. And just curious, are you still, because I've been trying to get in contact with him so I could possibly try to set up an interview. Do you know how to find him, or do you ever still talk to him?
Somewhere. He might have fell in love with one of those European women.
Yeah. I know he's around somewhere still, man. I definitely got to find Brian Shorter, man. I've heard legendary stories about him, like, in the Philly area, man. Legendary stories, man. Curious. So let's talk about the whole college recruiting process and what ultimately led you to Lehigh.
Well, really, I only had a few
offers. Got you.
Well, my junior year was kind of funny because my junior year, I had letters from Georgetown.
Oh, whoa.
I think they just sent out a lot of fillers.
Oh, just the filler letter. Yeah.
Villanova actually came around a couple of times.
Okay.
And I think the word on me, once it came to my senior year, we don't know if he was able to progress. My junior year, remember, we had a tall team.
Mm-hmm.
So I was able to play outside the perimeter a little bit. My senior year, we had a very small team. They put me as a center.
I understand.
So they didn't know. They couldn't project with my size if I could play on the perimeter.
Gotcha.
But Fran was always there.
Mm-hmm.
Fran was always there. And, like, I always had a good relationship with Fran.
Mm-hmm.
And I decided to go to Lehigh because I went to a game. And Lehigh was like 4-23. I remember falling asleep, and I looked at Fran, and I was like, I hope he didn't catch me falling asleep.
Yeah.
But I said to myself, man, if I come here, I can start right away.
No doubt.
So that's how I decided to go to Lehigh, and
Gotcha.
and it was a great move for me. It was
Mm-hmm.
a great move for me because I think Fran did a wonderful job developing my skill sets. We went to the tournament against Georgetown, and also we played Temple my senior year.
Got you. Hey, I'm gonna just run down. I was doing some research. I went to Wikipedia and I found like some amazing things about you. I'm gonna just run through some things real quick, and then you take your time and just elaborate and talk about them. It's a few people that mentioned they want you to talk about playing against Patrick Ewing. You played against Patrick Ewing?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The people want to hear. They want to hear about that. Ricard mentioned the classic Drexel versus Lehigh games.
Oh yeah.
Got to talk about those. So I'm gonna and also we got my man, another historian, man, a legend in the building. We got Littell Vaughn, man. We got the legendary Littell Vaughn in the building.
All
Appreciate
right.
you checking in, Littell. So
Yeah.
okay, so you led Lehigh in scoring all 4 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
You finished second in the nation, points per game in your senior year, 28.4. It said you were still only one of 8 players in Division I to have recorded 2,700 points and 2,700 plus points and 1,000 plus rebounds. And you're 6'5".
I wouldn't even say I'm 6'5".
Wow.
And that's the thing. People don't realize I grabbed a lot of rebounds.
Yeah.
A lot of energy. But, you know, the thing about Georgetown and with Patrick Ewing, I couldn't even focus on Patrick Ewing because all I saw guarding me was David Wingate. I'm going to throw some names at you. David Wingate, Reggie Williams, and Billy Martin. They took turns, and they would channel me into Patrick Ewing. So it was really hard for me to get off my shot because, you know, they paid a lot of attention to me. I was a freshman.
Uh-huh.
I didn't really know how to maneuver at that point, but that game helped me develop my skills where I said, you know what, I got to be a better jump shooter and I got to be quicker with my movements.
Mm-hmm.
So that game right there taught me that you can't just rely on your athletic ability.
Yeah.
As soon as someone who's just as athletic as you,
Of course,
and run you in a 7-footer, it work.
Yeah. Who were some of the other players on Georgetown's team at that time?
Michael Jackson, Perry McDonald. They had another big 6'11" guy. I think it was like his name was Dalton. But okay. I mentioned the bulk of their team. That was the main.
Yeah.
Patrick Ewing stuff.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned a few things, but I mean, you know, knowing that you were going up against Patrick Ewing and just, you know, what was the experience like being on the court with Pat, man?
Oh, it was great. I mean, like I said, this is a kid from Norristown who wasn't recruited, who's now able to play against marquee names.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
You know, so for me, like I said, I went to Solemn Baptist Church, taught me to count your blessing. That was a blessing.
100%.
That was a win for me.
That's right.
Game turned out. That was a win.
That's right. Hey, what are some other classic? I mean, Littell said you played in. I guess going back to high school. Littell said you played in you played in the Dapper Dan Classic up in Pittsburgh.
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
Like I said, I was highly recruited.
Okay, got you.
That's why if you take a look at probably where I ranked as a high school player.
Oh, I guess he was asking, did you? Oh, that was a question.
No.
Okay, he was asking, did you play in the Dapper Dan? Okay.
Like I said, I was kind of overlooked. I was kind of like unknown commodity, but except for the people in my community.
Gotcha.
Outside.
Gotcha. What were some more? Tell me about some more classic, you know, college rivalries, college games that you remember. You know, the battles versus Drexel. Any other classic college moments or games or rivals? Anything you remember?
Well, I tell you, it's Michael Anderson and I. We went at it.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Anderson, he was a bad boy. Michael and
Littell said that as well. Littell said him and Mike Anderson battles. And where did Mike Anderson play?
Drexel.
Gotcha. Talk about that.
Anyone who knew Mike, and this is just the truth. But Mike would say, "Yeah, Darius, tell the truth." Mike unfortunately broke his arm.
Mm-hmm.
So it was real hard to get any steals from Michael, anything, because the ball, he always kept it in front of him because when he broke his arm, naturally, it moved it there. Mike was quick. Mike, you know, I would have 30. Mike would have 30. We would go back and forth. I try to dunk on them, you know, and they actually had some good players inside.
Mm-hmm.
But I tried to, matter of fact, my senior year, a lot of people don't know this, but they voted me as the best player, was the best player who played against Philly teams.
Okay.
Because of my games against Drexel And also my senior year against Penn,
Okay.
we beat Penn. That's what
Mm-hmm.
Tyrone Pitts.
Gotcha.
And let me tell you, they had a young guy. They had a young guy. I think his name was Hassan Dunkel. And he was talking. You know, and I was a quiet guy, so I wasn't a talker.
Uh-huh.
And he was talking, and I said to myself, and everybody probably remembers, I said, I'm going to dunk on you so hard. And I flushed it on him. And I think I gained his respect.
No doubt. No doubt. That's crazy.
You know, but Michael was an excellent ball player. There's so many excellent ball players, you know, in Norristown, surrounding areas. You know, like I said, I'm just appreciative to play against them, you know. But one thing, player I do want to mention also, because he helped me out, and I'm just going to tell you, it's not just summer league, but he was part of my summer and helping me improve. John Bates. I hope a lot of people remember John Bates. John Bates was a 6'7" guy, and John Bates offered me to come to the Carver. And John Bates said, you know what, Darren, let's work out some shooting drills. And John Bates was just shooting the mess out of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And John must have saw that I was in awe, because John said, do you want to play one-on-one? I said, no, I don't want to play one-on-one. But let me tell you, I flipped the script, because I was shooting that ball, and I was following everything John was taught me, and I became such a good shooter, I knew I could knock down 4 or 5 in a row.
Gotcha.
And I looked at John. I said, John, you ready to play now? John said, no. But John was a great guy, you know, and he really helped me out a lot.
No doubt. Hey, speaking of the Carver, Rope had mentioned earlier, and then we'll finish talking about Lehigh and then transition from there. He said, ask him about the Carver experience, a one-on-one bet or something like that. I'm not sure what he said.
I played one-on-one with a lot of people. They somehow probably beat me.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he's referring to. And John E. Bowser Jr. said Norristown versus Ben Salem. He said he dunked on everyone.
Oh, Ben, yeah, I had some dunks. You know, that was my thing. You know, I wasn't the best shooter. I wasn't the best ball handler. I rebound well. I could score around the basket, and if you stayed underneath the basket, I could dunk on you.
No doubt. No doubt. Hey,
you know,
what tell me about life after what was your transition after Lehigh? So you have this amazing career at Lehigh. Like, did you get an agent? Were you working by yourself? What were people telling you? Did you think you could possibly, you know, go to the NBA or what was the transition after Lehigh?
Well, transition after Lehigh was twofold. I actually went overseas, and I went to the Philippines.
Okay.
You know, and my first time I went to the Philippines, I wasn't successful. Second time, we won a championship.
Okay.
You know, but I'm going to tell you my story about the Philippines, and I'm going to talk about the CBA. The Philippines, and that's when I scored that 80 points.
Gotcha.
The Philippines, they paid me, it was like, I think like 45,000 pesos. It was equivalent to like $7,000 to wear these shoes called KPs.
Okay.
You know.
Okay. So you had a little endorsement deal.
I had a little endorsement, but let me tell you, they killed my feet.
Oh wow!
I tell you, I wore them because
the KPs ain't have no support, huh?
No, but I was going to get that money. But let me tell you, who played down in the Philippines when I was playing. Michael Anderson, and remember Black Magic, Louis Lloyd?
Louis Lloyd, yeah, Black Magic, Lou Lloyd, yep, rest in peace.
He played down there, and you know, we didn't play them the championships, but we beat them. We won a championship. But the Philippines, let me tell you about the Philippines. $1 went a long way. I had my own driver.
Wow.
A masseuse who would cut my hair, and I'm gonna tell you about this story. They played in this place called Ultra. All the teams played in this place called the Ultra. And it was like 4 or 5, maybe it's about 5 to 10,000 people. It was really huge. And they had all the stars. It was like their NBA.
Mm-hmm.
It was about their NBA. It was like the NBA. And that was the first time I started experiencing, wow, you know, maybe this, I mean, they treated you like a star.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the first time I went over there. But then I went and played in the CBA, okay? And I think the CBA really solidified my confidence that I could play with some of the better players.
Gotcha.
On that team, I played in Charleston, West Virginia.
Okay.
My roommate was Rodney Blake. Remember Big Rodney Blake for St. Joe's?
I believe so. Yeah. Yep.
Rodney Blake was there. Michael Anderson. I averaged 24.7 points a game, 7 rebounds. And I actually didn't take a lot of shots, but this is when my shot was coming, thanks to John Bates and the great shooters I saw at Norristown that I knew I had to start shooting.
Mm-hmm.
I shot 39%.
Wow.
From the field. I made the all-star team, but, not a lot of people believed in the in-betweener back then. It wasn't like small ball now.
Yeah.
In-betweeners had a tough way to go. But we played in the all-star, and actually, Dwayne McClain actually won the MVP.
Mm-hmm.
I think if we'd have won, I would have got it.
Okay.
I would have got it because they didn't even play me to the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
I scored 15 points in the fourth quarter.
Wow.
And I dunked on somebody.
Crazy.
Calvin Nett. Remember Calvin Nett?
Who's that?
He played in the NBA. He was like a 6'3" guard.
What was the name again?
Calvin Nett.
Sounds familiar. It definitely sounds familiar.
And he was running hard at me, and I was like, once again, he underestimated me, and I got him.
Crazy. Hey, do you have any archives of any of that stuff? Like any of the Lehigh stuff in overseas? Any old videotapes? Any of that stuff or no?
Well, here's the thing. I was too lazy. I had them on. It was a different system. It was called PAL.
Yeah.
And you switch them over. I still got them on VHS. Like I said, I use basketball as a tool. And now I want to see everyone else to see.
No doubt.
And in life too, not just basketball.
Of course. Yeah. So you're overseas, and how does the path continue from there?
Let me tell you, the country I love playing the most was Belgium.
Gotcha.
Belgium, it was like a second home for me.
Mm-hmm.
I played a team called Ulst. I mean, they treated me exceptionally well. I actually had my own radio program for 3 years when here's the thing, I would interview other players.
Wow.
And then I would play against them.
Yeah. He was living large over there. That's dope.
And here's the story. So we had, and this name's gonna sound familiar, and that's why I say always give positive encouragement, because you never know how someone's going to turn out.
Mm-hmm.
My teammate was Boro Vucevic.
Okay.
Boro Vucevic is the father of Nikolai Vucevic, who plays for Orlando.
Got you. Wow, that's classic.
I had my radio program. I always would try to get his father on the show. It was one of my biggest fails.
Uh-huh.
I couldn't interview Boro. Every time I would call Boro, he would put his son Nikolai on, and Nikolai would say, "Boro's not here. Boro's not here." And I remember he showed up to Philadelphia. I tried to call him to welcome him, but the Sixers wouldn't connect me to him.
That's crazy. That's a crazy story right there. That's funny.
But Belgium, not only that, I'm gonna tell you, treated me so well. I mean, I have a lot of admiration for that place, Ulst, the team, my teammates there. They even let me. Now get this, I have no vocals, none at all. They even called me to do a Christmas song.
What to sing?
To sing. I have a Christmas song.
Yo, that's crazy. So you was like, you was like living like, you was the face of the league over there.
Well, yeah, yeah. I mean, it was, yeah, that was my favorite place. But I also played in I played in Germany.
Hmm.
I played in it's called it's 10 minutes from Barcelona. It's called Badalona.
Okay.
And I played with what's Macio's last name? Tanaka Beard and Macio. He was Macio. He played for the Indiana Pacers. But you know what? I also played for someone who went to Dobbins in Philadelphia.
Okay.
Remember what was Stewart? Larry Stewart.
Okay.
He was about 6'6".
Okay.
I think he played for the Washington Wizards for a little bit.
Okay. Gotcha. All right.
He played for the Washington Wizards a little bit. Sometimes I go sideways because I played so much. But that I'm gonna tell you this. This is I'm gonna tell you because I missed this and I think it's important how I tried out when I tried out for Houston. Okay, I did actually score in an exhibition game. I played 16 minutes. I scored 9 points.
Wow.
And in Milwaukee, I hit 2 field goals. And then I didn't play the next game. And I said, I might be in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember Olajuwon used to call me Leaper.
Got you.
If Olajuwon calls you Leaper, that's a win.
Of course. That's a win right there.
That's a win. Like I said, I count my blessings. And let me tell you, going back to the CBA, the next year, I played for Rapid City. Now, listen to some of these names. This is a guy who wasn't recruited playing Norristown, and that's why I said, I wasn't the big name like Junie Lewis. I wasn't the big name like Mark Sally or even Brian Leahy, Grady. I played with Pearl Washington.
Got you.
Chris Childs.
Wow.
Keith Smart.
Mm-hmm.
And there was also a player from Jim Thompson. He played for Indiana. And guess what? I was holding my own. They were giving me props. Also, I played for Albany Bertrand. And this guy I have so much admiration for. Remember Mario Ellie?
Of course.
Mario Ellie played for the Houston Rockets. And Mario came to me and he said, "You know what, D? You got game." I was like, "Oh, that's a win."
I love how you those compliments or whatever. I love how you kind of bottle them up and like that's a victory right there. You know what I'm saying? You count those blessings and you acknowledge that like those are blessings right there, man. Because that means people are taking notice. They that comes with like they're not just saying that to say it. You know what I'm saying? Like they saw something in you and they tipped their hat off to you and you acknowledge that. You know what I'm saying?
And you know what I think I always try to be a good person and I always try to be the best in people, and even like in Norristown, if someone does move and he makes a shot on me, I'm happy for him. Mm-hmm. Because if you can represent, I'm happy for you. I was able to play overseas for so many years, and because I developed a jump shot, and there's so many people I said touch my life that I admire, and I said help shape the person who I am. To me, I love basketball, but I love if you're a better person. If
no doubt,
you're a good father, you're successful.
Mm-hmm.
Like I mentioned that before.
Yeah.
Giving back to the community. Sharing stories. Encouraging our youth.
No doubt.
That to me, and I always thought, and I can tell you a story. I actually met Michael Jordan.
Okay, tell me about it.
Michael Jordan, and I don't know if too many people, he was a megastar, but at Lehigh, Doug Collins was the coach of Chicago Bulls. There was Coach Anderson. He was a pitcher. He played like professional basketball, but he was the uncle of Doug Collins. So we actually got it. It took us, Doug allowed us to go in the back room to meet Michael Jordan. And I don't know if he was tired from the game, but he really wasn't too warm to us.
I understand.
Now, and I said to myself, even on my level, I'm going to take time to speak to people.
Of course.
I take time to speak to people. And anyone who knows me overseas, here, I always took time out.
Mm-hmm.
Question, hey, come talk to me. Even though I was shy, and it helped me, get away my shyness. I always, because everyone, you can impact people in a positive way.
That's right.
And like when Charles Barkley says, I'm not a role model. Yes, you are, Charles.
Yes, you are. For sure you are. Yeah.
You are a role model.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone can be a role model on different levels.
That's right. That's right. Appreciate that. Hey, just before we transition out of the pro experience, so you talked about a little bit overseas and then having a shot with the NBA, with the Houston Rockets and all that. And tell me about the CBA and then that dunk contest. Take me back to the night of that dunk contest, man.
Well, the dunk contest, I was a little, they had some good dunkers. And like I said, I could dunk, but I was trying to figure out how can I be creative.
Of course.
To win it. And then I remember Chris Doc Blocker, and I was like the dunk where he tapped it and turned it around. But I said, okay, well, people seen that. Because that's originally Chris Doc Blocker's dunk. But how can you create a different variation from that?
Mm-hmm.
And I said to myself, well, I'm going to tap it twice and dunk it. And I didn't turn backwards and dunk it. I didn't know if I could do it. I just said, well, I got pretty good hang time.
Mm-hmm.
Let me do it. And I did it, and I did it. And at first, the crowd was like quiet because they're like, what did he?
Like didn't know how to receive it.
And I heard people saying, no, I believe he tapped it twice. Twice. And it was a delayed reaction. And then it was like, oh, yeah. At first, I was like, oh, I'm about to blow this. And
what other dunks do you remember doing in order to win the championship?
Well, your normal dunks, 360.
Okay.
I try to jump high and power dunk it. I think because of my height, just like Junie, you 6'2", I was 6'4". You get up, it looks better than.
It looks a lot different. Yeah, it looks a lot different. Yep.
And I had a lot of power, and I think people didn't realize that I had that power too.
Mm-hmm.
So, I would dunk it with that power.
Yeah.
And at a press, this little guy, and he got a little bit of power.
No doubt. That's what's up. Hey, is there anything else that you want to mention about your professional career? Because if not, I just want you to tap into and just kind of reflect on at what point did your professional playing career come to a close, and what was it like kind of, ending that chapter of your life? And just what was that experience like for you, just ending that chapter, after playing so long?
Yeah, and I'm gonna just say this. Now, I did get paid by the NBA.
Okay.
The Detroit Pistons paid me to try out, so
okay.
I did receive an NBA paycheck.
No doubt.
And I was able to play with Isaiah, like I said, Rodman. And matter of fact, the reason why they paid me, we played in the.
Oh, so you're officially one of the bad boys.
Well, you could say that.
You're honorary bad boy.
But we played it against these all-stars. It was Reggie Theus, Leon Wood, and I think I had about 42 points that day.
Wow.
I had about 42. So they paid me to come try out. But let me get back to when I knew my career was ending. Well, because I was coming off, I started playing less and less. But I was 35, turning 36. But I still had my jumper. But it was harder to start dunking.
Mm-hmm. Got you.
You had it, but it was harder to dunk. But, one thing I realized, because I'm actually a certified financial planner, and a lot of times I reflect. What a lot of players need to incorporate is when they're making that transition is they need to, like, especially players overseas or even playing in the NBA, do some internships. There has to be a transition period, and I think we need to do a better job of preparing professional athletes to transition to either entrepreneurship, start their own business, or going into corporate America. And that transition took a while, so you have to be careful with your I would say your money. You have to be very careful with your money. But Lehigh prepared me well. I was able to transfer into corporate America quite seamlessly.
Gotcha. Yeah. So life after. Tell me about life after basketball. Once that was over, what did you transition into? And like, did you start the financial planning? You know, like, is that when you jumped into that, or you know, what was it like after, or were you still playing some? You know what?
Well, I can tell you, like, once I was done, actually Fran McCaffrey coached at, now he's coaching at Iowa, but he coached at University of North Carolina in Greensboro. So I called Fran. Fran would do anything for me. So I went up there and I was visiting and I was talking to Fran, and Fran was like, Q, they call me Q. Q, why don't you come work for me? I said, Fran, okay, well, what do you want me to do? Fran was like, I want you to recruit, you know? And I'm like, I can't do that because I have a wife, I have 2 kids.
Yeah, recruit, that's a lot of running around.
I want to give them some stability. And there was a place called Winthrop down here. His name was Greg Marshall. He coached at Wichita State. He even asked me, hey, you want to come be an assistant? But I was like, you know, not really, because I want to be a good father, but and a good husband. But let me tell you where I got my passion to become a certified financial planner. And on the back of the bus, I think I was in Battle, and I was paying my bills. One of my teammates said, hey, Darren, what are you doing? I said, I'm paying my bills. He says, why don't you let your agent pay your bills? And I said, well, how much are you paying your agent pay your bills? Said,
and mind you, and that's another bill.
Right. But you got to understand the mentality of ball players. Let me get this light out here. Let me go back over here. You got to understand the mentality of ball players. But I wanted to teach them about the time value of money.
Yep.
And the reason why I was reading a lot of Susie Orman books, I was reading a lot of Rich Edelman, and this guy was making a pretty good amount of money. So I said, how long have you been paying him? He said, about like 4 or 5 years. So it was about $100,000 he gave. So what I did, you know, Lehigh taught me how to crunch numbers. My paper was called a future value calculation. I used the S&P 500, was making about 8%. And I pushed, he was a young guy, about 25. I said another 40 years before you retire, 65. And I hit the future value. It came out to $800,000. His eyes opened up. He says, wow, you're pretty good with numbers. I said, this is how much you're truly giving up.
Yeah.
You know, and like one thing I would teach people, and that's one thing college. I went through Lehigh at the time was 40. I think Lehigh is like a $60,000 school now. One thing high school, college don't teach, not just ball players, but just, I would say regular people like myself, is how to manage your money. Live off 80%. Learn how the rich people do it over the long term.
That's
they
right.
invest in their 401ks. If you have a match, at least put in the match. That's free money. Try to understand about a Roth or the traditional IRA. Go to the IRS website. All that information is there. Look at publication 590B. You know, now, one thing about ball players I've learned, and I had it myself when I was trying to teach this teammate of mine, is a lot of agents, and it's psychological because I was under that same influence. Let your agent take care of everything, you know? And if your agent takes care of everything, it gives you the ability to play and have a possibility of earning a higher contract. Well, here's the thing. Let your agent negotiate contracts for you. Look for people who have expertise in certain areas. Like like Antonio Walker. Why are you a slumlord making all that money? No. And your agent is not an expert in that. That's why you're doing it. There's got to be a transition period, not only for, I would say, for athletes, but I would say the Black community. I would say people of even my white brothers and sisters who don't make as much understand how the wealthy get rich.
That's right.
Understand that.
You know, I appreciate that. That's valuable, man. That's priceless information, right? You know, ball players need to hear that. People in general need to hear that, man. I appreciate that, man. I definitely appreciate those gems, man. Those words of wisdom regarding finances, man. Curious, man. Just want to let our audience know if anybody has any questions for DQ. I just have like 2 more questions, and then I'm gonna turn it over to the people for any Q&A. So if anybody has any questions, start typing your questions right now in the comment section, and I'll scroll back through them, and I'll just let DQ ask them as we go along. When you reflect back over your career, your playing career, all that kind of stuff, I don't like to use the word regrets. I definitely don't believe in regrets. Everything was God's plan and everything happens for a reason, how it was intended to happen. But when you think back over your playing career, are there any things that you wish that you could have done differently or may have kind of had like a redo on, or no?
Like I said, I was taught to catch your blessings. Here's the thing. My only regrets, I say to myself, could I have played maybe at a bigger Division I school?
Okay.
But then I look, and like I said, every man's path helps shape who they currently are.
Of course.
So I have no regrets. You know why I don't have no regrets? Because when I look at people, I remember LaSalle. Said, tell me about the one who got away. Lefty, what's the coach name? Was it Lefty? What was his name? He said DAREN QUEENAN. He said DAREN QUEENAN. And they put me in this top 50 collegiate players, okay? And I think it was to Richland. And I think they were just going by college, not overall talent, college career.
Yeah.
And some people would look and says, well, I got a problem with DAREN QUEENAN and there. Like they would mention Stevie Thompson. Stevie Thompson would have done the same thing. Guess what? I won. Because you compare me to him.
That's right.
Guy was an All-American, second team All-American.
That's right.
I barely got recruited.
That's right.
Those are the players I want to represent.
Yep. And being named in the same class with them, that's a win.
Yeah, for me it's a win. I have no regrets because, like I said, I was blessed. Great community. I would start my mother, great my father, my siblings, my friends. Shout out to the Smack 2 crew. Like I said, classmates, coaches, minor, collegiate, high school, overseas. I had all. They took me in with warmth. Look, I can die a happy man. I know
that's right.
I'm not. You're not gonna see me in my name in the NBA. But I was very close. I experienced things that no one ever experienced. I was able to travel. From my childhood, like I said, on up. I have no regrets. The only thing I would wish is maybe I perhaps even be a better person.
No doubt.
I could have treated everybody with kindness. Sometimes I had my little off day. I didn't treat everybody with kindness, but I truly, love everyone in my community, outside my community, anyone who has ever touched my life. I mean, I appreciate the impact they made on me. Like I said, to become a better person.
No doubt.
Father, a good husband. My daughters are growing well. I want everyone to do well. Life is short.
Of course. Yep.
life is very short. You know, I'll be 55. I'm a 55 happy-year-old, a happy man. I go on Facebook very seldom, but when I hear good news, I see people doing well. It makes me happy. I see my old buddy Memel Store saying,
Yeah, he
"What's
said
up?"
Smack 2. Yeah, Smack 2
Yeah,
crew, right? That's your crew.
and let me tell you, his father, and God bless his soul, his father was such a joy when we played Penwood. I mean, he would jump out the stands. I mean, to me, he was a great man. I love talking to Mr. Stewart.
No doubt.
You know, love talking to him. That was Mel, my buddies. And then my old friend and Farouk, we called him Bushead, Brian.
Bus, Farouk,
You
my
know?
guy. That's my old head, man. That's my OG, man. That's like it's like one of my big brothers, man.
Well, we were inseparable. When we were young, we were inseparable. You know,
No
like I
doubt.
said, I had the Johnsons, I had the Dardens down there. I had there was Rob, and there was my man Gucci. You know, he knows who I'm talking about up the street. Jacob Hill. I mean, I had the Josias, Aaron Josias. I mean, I was just so blessed, and I loved the community. And like I said, it spilled over. It spilled over to college. They treated me excellent at Lehigh. That's why I would go to Lehigh again. It taught me so much about life.
No doubt.
And this is stuff I could share. Then going overseas, it taught me so much on how to treat people with respect and dignity.
Yeah.
You know, don't ever put yourself above someone just because I dribbled a basketball.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
Like, I admire you saying legend.
Yeah.
I'm a byproduct of my community. So many people helped me get to that stage. You know,
Yeah.
That's why people say, "Well, he didn't make the NBA." That's fine.
That's fine.
I won.
That's right.
Because I wasn't predicted to go to the NBA anyway. And
That's right. That's right. That's right. Hey, shout out Judy Lewis, still tuned in. He said Darren, Grady, Martin, and Judy, best class ever. 4 D1 players in our conference. Never forget.
Well, I agree with Judy.
No doubt. Hey, lastly, what are some just talk to the younger generation real quick. What are some keys to success, for some young ballers coming up trying to find their way, and just any encouragement, any things that you would say to the younger generation coming up watching?
I would say to the younger generation is don't be discouraged. Don't be discouraged. Learn from anyone and everyone. Be a sponge. Be a sponge. Now, it does take dedication. It does take dedication. Discipline yourself. But what's number one is be a great student.
Gotcha.
Let me tell you the reason. If you look at the collegiate teams, okay, look at the collegiate teams. You're going to have your great players, and then I'm going to go back and talk about the skill set. You're going to have your great players. But look at the end of the bench. The end of the bench are players that they know who are great in school. Because you know what? School now, they want to sell their players. When they go talk to the parents, well, we have a 98% graduation rate.
Mm-hmm.
You could be one of those players. You don't always have to be the star.
Gotcha.
You can contribute to your team. Like, one thing I admire is not just the star team, but the guys who are dedicated and who don't get the publicity.
Yep.
And they play hard. But let me go back what I would say to the young players. Don't get discouraged. Be a sponge. Talk to coaches. Nowadays, it's small ball. Work on your jump shot. Work on your ball handling. Take a look at someone like James Harden. He's a deceptive athlete, but look at the ball skills, 6'5", creates a lot of space. You could say look at Kyrie Irving, but no one's going to really have those type of handles.
Yeah.
But look at the ball players who don't get the recognition. What do? They hustle. You can bring a lot of energy to your team, even if you're not at that skill set yet. You keep working at it. And
Mm-hmm.
like I said, I wish I had films of myself, because if they saw me in high school, they said, "Oh, all this guy can do is dunk." But I hustled around the basket.
Yeah.
You know? And I got a lot of that from like my teammates. Like I said, Michael Simpkins, 6'1", maybe six and a half, but fearless. Frankie Dobbs. People were scared to bring the ball up against Frankie Dobbs. You don't have to be tall, but and listen to your coach. Listen to Norristown has an excellent coach in Binky Johnson. Binky has been through. Binky was on a championship team himself. Great character. Always liked his personality as a young kid. But you know what? And this is what I would say, not just the young ball players, to the fathers. You make a big difference. You make a big difference. Fathers, get involved with your kids' life. Remember in the beginning, I said kids are like a seed, and you got to water it so it can blossom. Your positive encouragement. Fathers are the number one source for a young male figure.
That's right.
And help channel him through that process. And of course he's going to be discouraged, but to him, hard work and baby steps. Now you might have some kids who are just naturally gifted, and be humble, and everything will turn out fine.
No doubt, no doubt. Well, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate those words of wisdom. I'm sure, any young players that are listening, are definitely taking notes, and I'm definitely taking notes myself. I appreciate it. If anybody watching this right now, we're about to be, wrapping up pretty soon. If anybody has any questions or comments for DQ, start typing them in the comment section right now, and I'll read them off or ask them any questions that you guys have. Somebody had asked, Clifton James said, do you know of any NBA players that stuck in the league, but you may have been better than them? Don't mention any names or mention or whatever.
Well, my job is not to call anybody out.
No doubt. No doubt.
I'm happy for everyone.
Of course.
I just think, my time, my type of style wasn't a good fit at that moment, because I actually think I would have had a better chance to make it in this league.
Gotcha.
With small ball.
Yeah. Gotcha.
With the small ball. Because and it just also I want to say this, because you talk about you have made a team. It's just like I thought one player who in my high school, and just to mention the one player who I thought should have made it. I thought he played well, and I'm not saying he should have replaced anybody. I thought there should have just been a spot for him. There's a guy named Fred Carter, and he did wonderful things down at the playground, setting things up. To my Aunt Nancy, I said hello. Fred Carter, I thought was like, wow, this guy's on fire. This guy's going to make the team. Not that
my old Fred, Green Street Fred Carter. Fred
Carter, yes.
Fred, it was something like that's my old head. That's like my big brother. Seeing him play down, I agree with you. Seeing him play down Oak Street Park, like Fred was unstoppable.
Yeah.
He had the most unstoppable mid-range game, that drive baseline, pull up, jump shot, pull up on his stop and pop was impeccable. Right. But I heard Fred, he didn't play high school ball.
Well, he tried out.
Oh, okay.
He tried out. And Fred was the one person I think could have made it. I'm not saying he should have replaced anybody, but they should have reserved a spot for him. For sure. That's my opinion coming from DAREN QUEENAN.
No doubt.
But let me tell you this. He's talking about, because that was a great question by Cliff James. Now it's coming to mind. I played remember Flip Sanders?
Yeah, Flip Sanders, yep.
Flip Sanders, I played for him at lacrosse, and that's where I actually played with Gene Banks as well.
Wow.
Flip Sanders told me, and I told him, I said, Flip, I got to take this job overseas. I don't come from a rich family. I'm broke. He said, you know what? If you come back, you're going to get called up into the NBA. So here was a coach who was on that level, you know, unfortunately he passed away, but he was a coach who told me that I could play on the next level.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but I would
Like
say,
what did that do for you in that moment? Like I understand your obligations, you know, you financially you had to, you know, so in the event that you had like, you know, $100,000 sitting in the bank and you could have took them up on that offer. But regardless, you know, you chose to go a different direction. But as you walked away, what were you thinking in your mind? Like what did that do for you? What did that do for you? Just him endorsing you in that way and letting you know that.
oh, that gave me confidence to do work overseas. That's why I lasted so long.
No
But,
doubt.
but if there was any regret, that might have been a regret. If I was
Okay.
in a better financial situation, like some ball players are, because maybe they came from more of a better situation when it comes to earnings in from their parents,
Uh-huh.
you know, modest means, that maybe I could try to last a little longer. But that
Yeah.
wasn't the situation.
Got you. Hey, well, that's pretty much everything I have for you, man. We've had an amazing audience the entire time. You know, people chimed in, you know, participating in the conversation, man. Just want to say thank you so much for being so transparent. Thanks for your contribution. You know, you know, the segment is called Legends Week. But in your case, we're calling this Winners Week because you're a winner, man. You know, you've counted your blessings the entire way. You know, you've definitely been a blessing. You know, thanks for your contribution to the culture, all the memories and everything, man. Just to thank you. Thanks for joining us tonight, man, and sharing your history, man. Anything that you want to mention, anything you want to say that we didn't cover, or just any shout outs or anything else you want to mention before we close out?
Well, I saw one thing. I did play for George Karl, and that's when I played with Mario Ellie,
Oh,
Vince Askew as well. The only thing I want to say is, like, you know, no one does the journey alone. And if I forgot anybody's name who was an inspiration to my life and I didn't mention them, I just want to say thank you. You are appreciated.
no
You
doubt.
know, I would be here for days if I had to thank everybody.
No doubt.
My life
No doubt.
take me into a better person. Like I said, I'm not a legend. I'm a byproduct of my community,
No
and I want
doubt.
to thank the community. My community stretches starting from Norristown, and it also stretches even overseas to a place called Belgium. You know, I've been received so well by so many people. And like I said, I just want to thank everybody. And this gave me the opportunity because, to tell you the truth, Mr. Michael Sterling, you and I know, I was commenting on you do a wonderful job, and I was commenting.
Thank you, man.
And you know how I was like, well, I don't really want to do it unless I can give other people accolades. I'm kind of out of the scene now. But it gave me the chance just to thank so many people from the bottom of my heart.
No doubt, no doubt. Thank you, man. Oh, shout out real quick. My man J Mac, one of my bros, said his favorite DQ moment was the Norristown layup line when he would throw the ball in at the end of the taps.
Oh yeah.
So you at the layup line. You were the last guy. You were the last guy.
Yeah.
No doubt.
What they do is they would throw it up. You had to catch it, and the last person had to dunk it.
No doubt.
Let me
No
tell you,
doubt.
that was hard because we had some fast guards.
Yes, you had to keep up.
That wasn't easy. Our guards was fast.
Hey, another one of my bros, man, the legendary Jeff Spruill, one of the best point guards, you know, floor generals in Oak Street Park history. Spruill.
Yes.
Spruill says, speak about Bean Hadrick, Bean Hadrick as a teammate your senior year.
Oh my, you know, and I heard Bean passed away. So also the great Wayne Dixon. Bean, you know, I just love Bean's demeanor. Bean was the ultimate team player. Fast, pressured the ball, really didn't care who scored as long as you got the W. You know, and I want to thank Bean because Bean, like I said, there's so many people who contribute to our 84 success, and I think that spillage from 83 as well, because we learned a lot from them. And like I said, Jeff Jules, I would say my brothers, everyone in the community, you know, my senior year, like I said, they came out and they supported us. They supported us. You know, even the great girl players who you said you're going to start giving some credit to, because they are true legends as well.
For sure.
You know, they're pioneers. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so you know, I'm going to look out for that. But you know, Bean was awesome. You know,
No doubt.
all my teammates was. I got along with everybody.
Yeah, no doubt.
Everybody knows me. They're gonna say, yeah, he's right.
No doubt.
He pretty
Hey,
much got along with all of us.
this is an interesting question because I actually remember. If you remember, you know, Oak Street Park it's a different layout now. They renovated years ago, and it's a different layout. But years ago, it was the two courts. It was the one this way, and then the one this way. You know, the main court, and then it was the other one the other way. The main court, yeah, the main court was the main court, but the one on the other side that was backed up against the one court. Remember, it had the high 12-foot. I mean, it was super high. I remember playing roughhouse over there. That court, that rim was super high, so you could dunk on that court.
Yeah,
like easily, just flush on that court, 12 feet.
You know, one night, I remember. I think I was in college, and I was home for the summer, and you know, I really wanted to be careful because you know, I was saying to myself, well, if I go out there, you know, on the cement, I really wanted to play, but I had to be careful because I didn't want to get injured.
Of course.
So my dad actually lived on Chestnut, so it was real close. And at night, I would go in there, and, you know, it was night, and I was trying to shoot, you know, just working on my footwork, layups. And then I remember one time, I just dunked the mess out of it. And then this one kid said, "Who is that?" I said, "Let me get my ball and get on out of here."
That's classic, man.
But that's how much town loves basketball.
Of course. That's right. Hey, I have one last question, man. Just a random thing. Do you still have the legendary glasses, man? Do you still have the glasses from high school? Are they still in a? Are they mounted on the wall in a trophy in a you know case laminated? Do you still have the glasses, man?
Let me tell you this.
Because those things are legendary, man.
No, those glasses cost her some games, so they had to be thrown in the fire pit.
Oh man. I think I saw a photo. I think I saw a photo online somewhere of you with the glasses on. I saw a photo at least. I mean, we need something to commemorate the glasses, man.
Those glasses was tough to play with. It was tough to play with.
Oh man. Hey, that's pretty much all I have, man. Again, I want to say thank you so much, man. What are your thoughts about the Legends Week platform and just having the guys on? What do you think about this whole format, man?
I think you're doing big things. I think Norristown, the area in itself, rich in tradition. It gives the current players a foundation to look at other players saying, yes, I can make it. I can be positive. I think you're doing wonderful things. I even had one of my coworkers, named Mitch Falter. Man, you got my coworkers from Kenya looking at this. I mean, like I said, you're doing great things, and you're a self-proclaimed journalist, correct?
Of course, yep.
Hey, like I said, this is very creative. It's genius. And
no doubt. Well, thank you, man. God bless you. I continue to pray for you, pray for your family, man. I pray that all is well during this pandemic, this tough time in our country. And just thank you so much, man, just for believing in me, for giving me your time tonight. I know how valuable time is. Just want to say thank you, man. I give God all the glory for our time spent tonight. Hopefully, for you, it was a good use of your time tonight as well. And just want to let let the audience know, I know a lot of people tuned in a little bit late, and this was an awesome interview. I'm actually going to save this interview, and I'm gonna upload it to my YouTube channel. So I'll send you the link, and I'll send the link out so everyone can see the full interview as well. And all the past interviews, I interviewed Billy Owens, Jerry Stackhouse, Junie Lewis, all the Philly guys, Sean Colson, tons of people I've interviewed. All the interviews are up there if anybody wants to see the backlog of interviews as well. And you know, off the record, you know, between me and you, if you have any of the, I actually have the capabilities to transfer the old VHS tapes to DVD. So, you know, if you want to, you know, connect with me, man, and I can help to preserve some of those old memories and actually get them online as well on my website, so we can bring them back to life so people can watch them. I can do that as well. I would greatly appreciate if you have any old VCR tapes sitting around of any old classic memories. I could bring that stuff back to life for sure.
I do, and yeah, you and I are gonna stay in touch because I
Of
got
course.
so I can send them.
Of
I can
course,
send them
done
to
deal. I could bring
you.
them puppies back to life for sure, man.
And you know, people are generous to give me their time, so the least I could do is give you my time. So I appreciate you having me on. I truly do.
No doubt. Thank you, man. Again, this interview is gonna be saved. When I put it on YouTube, I'll send you the link so you can, you know, continue to share it with family and friends and anyone that missed it. For anyone watching right now, Legends Week continues next week. I got plenty more, you know, legendary guests, you know, coming on to chat with us, man. Darren Queenan, appreciate you, big dog. Norristown's one of Norristown's finest, man.
My pleasure.
All right, big dog. Take care, man.
All right, you too. Have a
Yes,
good
sir.
night.
You too.
Good night, everybody.